Once upon a time, it goes, a story told of love and woes.
Gather around, my loyal subjects, and let me regale you with a fantasy tale of how this old gamer loves a city builder or two. In fact, it was my review of the Settlers on Switch that really helped put What's It Like on the map. There's something so satisfying about setting up supply chains and orchestrating a perfect symphony of production, economy, and military strength. Now, I was under the impression that Fabledom was going to be more of a light experience, similar to a SimCity clone. Yet, like any good Fable, there were twists, surprises, and the occasional monster bug that needed slaying. What's it like? Gather some wood, make some coal, and be sure you have enough veggies for the winter as we review Fabledom on Nintendo Switch. But before we get started, would you be a noble man or woman and like and subscribe? It's the best way that What's It Like can get found on YouTube, and I blew my entire marketing budget on a town crier, which didn't seem to be as effective as Google Ads. Fabledom by Greener Games puts you in the boots of a king or queen of a randomly generated land and tasks you to build a small village and turn it into a bustling hamlet. That's about it to start with, so you get started unpacking the supplies that your denizens or fablings came with and get going. It can be a bit slow paced to start with, but eventually you'll start welcoming new fablings to your village and hit milestones that unlock new rewards and increase your tech tree, which in turn allows you to build more complex systems and even welcome in different citizen classes who can fulfill different roles. You can even welcome powerful hero units to participate in random quests that appear sporadically on the map, usually offering both monetary and cosmetic rewards. I even managed to grow a beanstalk and sent my hero to explore. He passed his quest and I was able to build a golden goose pen in which I could sacrifice grain for gold. This is where the surprising depth of Fabledom comes into play, as you have to balance staffing facilities, housing, supply chains, and of course, your fabling satisfaction, hunger, and health. Food won't grow in the winter months, so players need to be diligent with setting up supply chains and storage to get them through the bad seasons. While it may all seem like a lot to manage, the game slowly and carefully introduces mechanics as you go along to help you solve these problems as they pop up, and it doesn't hurt that it's a little bit forgiving. The game will also give you side quests to achieve, like stockpiling a certain amount of food or donating wood to a cause. These quests usually provide decent monetary rewards to fill your coffers and expand on your town with new buildings. Building is rather simple with the usual rotate and place structure, but there's a twist, as this game features customizable buildings in a sense that you can add extras to a house, such as an outhouse which increases housing desirability, or an apple tree to help provide food without relying on the farms. This can also be set to auto for those just looking to plop a building down and move on, but the option to customize is always a welcome one. Once you have mastered building, you then have to master diplomacy by sending a messenger out to neighbouring kingdoms in which you can woo or war with, creating strategic partnerships. It works very similar to Civilization 6's diplomacy system, allowing you to send gifts and supplies and eventually set up embassies and even marry fellow rulers. Fabledom manages to include complex systems that are easy to use, or sometimes easy to ignore if you feel like you want to play the game at your pace, and sometimes it's just wonderful watching your town sprout up into a bustling city. As mentioned, like any fable told, there are challenges that you as the player may have to overcome to enjoy Fabledom on Nintendo Switch. Firstly, the graphics do look a little basic, and they've been obviously reduced to get it to run on the Nintendo Switch. While you can still see the grain shimmering in the wind, taking a slightly closer look will reveal crude two-dimensional sprites that are very rough around the edges. The same goes for all the trees and foliage in the game. There are a few performance hitches when moving around the town as well, and autosaving tends to pause the game for a good few seconds, but while you're frozen in place, the game still reads your inputs, often flinging your view to the other side of the map, leaving you to find your way back to town. It wasn't really game-breaking for me, but I can see it being frustrating for most players. There were also some major bugs like my UI just disappearing, forcing me to reload a save in which my UI came back, but my cursor disappeared, which means then I had to exit to the home screen and restart the game, and that was going through all the loading time as well, which was a bit of a drag. This major bug only happened to me once, but it really broke my immersion in the game, and I was really invested in that particular moment when it happened. Aside from the bugs, the game still does a great job of world building, and dulcet, whimsical piano tones whisk you away into this fantasy land. For my city builders looking for accessibility options, there are no specific options. You can, however, turn off the film grain look and remove the vignette, helping with visibility. You can also slow your cursor speed and pause the game if you need to take a moment to think about things instead of reacting on the fly. As always, I recommend further research to find out if Fabledom is for you. Fabledom is like a rough cut gem. There's a lot of value here for $38 Australian, as well as enjoyment to be had in the game. But it's a little bit unrefined and it may have some sharp edges. But if I'm being honest, it's exactly what I wish The Settlers was going to be way back when I started this channel. It's fun, casual, yet surprisingly deep management systems allow you to play your way, and it's incredibly satisfying to see your burgeoning village develop into a large city. It may have some graphical issues and the autosave pauses will annoy, but it also does an amazing job of drawing the player into this amazing city building game that has almost anything you could ask for. All it's missing really is an update or two to smooth it out, and then we could all live happily ever after. So, what's it like? Fabledom is like Civilization, crossed with The Settlers. I award it a 74 out of 100. In the interest of full disclosure, a review copy was provided by the publisher, but this doesn't influence my score. Thanks so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. The best way you can support me is to like and subscribe and continue watching my content if you enjoy it. But if you do want to go that bit extra, you can buy me a coffee or join our Patreon, which shows you behind the scenes of this channel. Thanks again.